Fuck, what do we do? We made it outside, we made it about a block.
We made it at least two blocks, and we started running. Floor by floor, instead of popping out.
It was like, it was if they had detonated.
Yeah,
as if they were
detonated,
planned to
yeah.
take down a building. Boom, 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 boom.
All the way down. I was watching it.
What happened?
We was in an explosion. We was in the lobby and then fucking the third explosion, the whole lobby collapsed on us.
What was it like? What was it like?
Horrible.
It's like hell. You don't want to know.
The whole building just collapsed on us inside the lobby.
Was that a secondary explosion?
Yes, it was.
That was the planet, probably.
Yeah, definitely a secondary explosion. Because we was inside waiting to go upstairs, and on the way upstairs, the whole fucking plane blew. And we just collapsed on everybody inside the lobby.
Similar to the first tower coming down, secondary.
I don't know about the first one, but I know the second was terrible. Then there was a third one too after that one.
Third explosion after that.
That's right. Everybody was inside the building, waiting to go upstairs. And they just let loose. Everything just let loose inside the building.
So what you told me is that there was a plane or whatever hit the building, then a secondary explosion.
It was like 3 explosions after that. We came in after the fire. We came when the fire was going on already. We was in the staging area inside the building, waiting to go upstairs. Then they exploded. The whole lobby collapsed on the lobby inside.
And it was just mayhem after that?
Just man, everybody tried to make their way out.
Just trying to help all the brothers get out.
A lot of people was trapped inside and
I was
everything.
sitting in the Brooklyn Navy Yard across from Brooklyn. We watched the first explosion. As we were watching the buildings, I saw a black, very large airplane fly right into the second building. It came out of the south, right in front of our eyes. Just, it was so surreal, like a movie set.
Second and third explosions also, right?
We were in the building for the third one. It collapsed. I was on this drive here for the other one.
Just trying to find your money and make your way out the building.
Beg your pardon?
Everybody will make that.
I'd say like 50% of what units that were on scene.
So far, everybody's
A lot of people in that building.
still trapped in the building.
Take off your jacket. Come on.
He's just trying to leave the way out.
I'm telling you, open up your jacket. You're going to dehydrate there.
That's what it is.
People don't understand. There may be more. Any one of these fucking buildings could blow up. This ain't done yet.
This is on top of this. This couldn't be no worse than this. Couldn't be nothing no more worse than this. You're in the building trying to help people, and it's exploding on the inside the building. So I don't think it can get any worse than this.
What's your name, sir?
Tyrone Johnson.
What's
Flat Company 24.
So who are you trying to get a phone call to? I'll keep hitting redial.
My sister.
what's the number again?
631-226-9595. Tell her I'm all right.
What's your name?
Jimmy Grillo, ladder 24.
Jimmy, what happened?
We were in the lobby gathering to go up and start doing a search on the upper floors. As we were getting our gear on and making our way to the stairway, there was a heavy-duty explosion. Everybody just started running for the door. Everybody was trapped. Eventually, when the dust lifted, I saw some light and started screaming for everybody to go out towards the light. I managed to get Tyrone out and a couple other guys that have already gone over to Jersey City via a boat. It was fucked. It was unbelievable in there. This guy's still trapped. We couldn't get to.
Message to your family?
Yeah, I'm alive. I'm okay.
Well,
933-2600.
Now let's stay in New York and meet Captain Kenneth Erb of the New York City Fire Department. He's captain of the firehouse at West 31st Street. His firehouse lost 3 firefighters yesterday, and he also lost a longtime friend, Father Michael Judge, the fire chaplain for the New York City Fire Department. And with Captain Erb is firefighter James Grillo of the New York City Fire Department. As you can see, some injuries suffered. He was in the South Tower when it went down and lost several of his firefighter friends. Mr. Grillo, James, what was it like when you got there?
It was terror, sheer terror. Bodies were falling out of the sky. They were jumping off the 105th floor and they were landing all over the street and the sidewalk. There was fear in everybody's eyes.
You also saw people jumping out of buildings, right?
Yes, they were jumping out from everywhere from the 70th floor above. It was horrible.
And what were you doing?
I was trying to avoid looking up and watching it, Mr. King. It was horrible. I saw dozens of people jumping.
Now, how did you get hurt, James?
I was my assignment with Latitude 4, the company I'm assigned to, we were supposed to go into building number 2, the South Tower, and make our way into into tower number 1, the North Tower. And we were caught in the collapse in the lobby of tower number 2, the South Tower.
Boy. Captain Erb, I know you didn't go to the scene, right? Captain, is that true?
No, I wasn't working that day. I came in on a recall.
Donald, you're probably the best-known builder, particularly of great buildings in the city. There's a great deal of question about whether or not the damage and the ultimate destruction of the buildings was caused by the airplanes, by architectural defect, or possibly by bombs or aftershocks. Do you have any thoughts on that?
Well, it was an architectural defect. You know, the World Trade Center was always known as a very, very strong building. Don't forget, that took a big bomb in the basement. Now, the basement is the most vulnerable place because that's your foundation. And it withstood that. And I got to see that area about 3 or 4 days after it took place because one of my structural engineers actually took me for a tour because he did the building. And I said, I can't believe it. The building was standing solid and half of the columns were blown out. I mean, so this was an unbelievably powerful building. If you know anything about structure, it was one of the first buildings that was built from the outside. The steel, the reason the World Trade Center had such narrow windows is that in between all the windows you had the steel on the outside. So you had the steel on the outside of the building. That's why when I first looked, and you had big, heavy I-beams, when I first looked at it, I couldn't believe it because there was a hole in the steel. And this is steel that was, you remember the width of the windows in the World Trade Center, folks. I think you know, if you were ever up there, they were quite narrow. And in between was this heavy steel. I said, how could a plane, even a 767 or 747, or whatever it might have been, how could it possibly go through the steel? I happen to think that they had not only a plane, but they had bombs that exploded almost simultaneously, because I just can't imagine anything being able to go through that wall. Most buildings are built with the steel is on the inside around the elevator shaft. This one was built from the outside, which is the strongest structure you can have, and it was almost just like a can of soup.
You know, Donald, we were looking at pictures all morning long of that plane coming into building number 2, and when you see that approach the far side, and then all of a sudden, within a matter of a millisecond, the explosion pops out the other side.
Right. I just think that it was a plane with more than just fuel. I think, obviously, they were very big planes. They were going very rapidly because I was also watching where the plane seemed to be not only going fast, it seemed to be coming down into the building. So it was getting the speed from going downhill, so to speak. It just seemed to me that to do that kind of destruction is even more than a big plane because you're talking about taking out steel, the heaviest caliber steel that was used on a building. I mean, these buildings were rock solid. And, you know, it's just an amazing thing. This country is different today, and it's going to be different than it ever was for many years to come.
Very profound statement and very true.